When it comes to DJing, matching phrases is one of the oldest techniques DJs use to make their mixes make musical sense. However, if you are new to DJing or if you're not musically trained, then matching phrases can actually be quite overwhelming and quite difficult. And so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down all of the techniques that I use to make phrase matching a whole lot easier. And if you are new here, my name is Karl Thomas. I've been a club DJ for the last 20 years, and these are the techniques that I use in every single DJ set. Let's get straight into it. Now, if you're sat there thinking, what on earth is a phrase when it comes to music? Well, think of an essay that you write on a piece of paper. You would not have one massive block of text filling the entire page. You break that text down into groups of sentences known as paragraphs. It is exactly the same in music. So a phrase is like the individual paragraphs of a track, and put together they make an overall song or the overall track. So that's all a phrase is. Now, this video is not going to teach you how to count in beats, bars, and phrases. I've got a video just like that on the channel. I will leave a link down in the description down below. Instead, what I'm going to show you is my active techniques for making sure that your mixes are in phrase in 2026, using both your ears, which is very important, of course, because we're DJing, but also using the visuals on screen as well. Because yes, we are in 2026, technology has moved on, and so you can use visuals as well as your ears. Let's jump onto the controller and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. On deck number one, I've got On Lock by Dale Howard loaded. What an absolute banger this is. Now, when it comes to phrases, there are going to be some very obvious phrases that everybody is going to be able to spot instantly. And I'm talking about drops of tracks. So if I scroll through this track, for example, when that track drops, that is the start of a brand new phrase. Just like when a track goes from intro to breakdown, when it goes very, very red on the waveform to very, very blue, okay, that is the indication of a breakdown. And of course, that is the start of a brand new phrase. Now, visually, to make phrase spotting a lot easier for you, I would always recommend having the red, green, blue waveform switched on in your DJ software. All DJ software has this option as far as I know. Avoid single color waveforms and avoid that weird blue-yellow waveform that Alpha Theta has. I don't think it's very good for spotting phrases. Now, those types of phrases, drops, breakdowns, build-ups, etc., are all well and good because anyone can spot them. They are very, very obvious. However, if you look at this track that I've loaded by Dale Howard, there's a long intro, okay, and there are going to be phrase differences or changes in phrase through that intro. If you've watched any of my videos before on phrases, you'll know that phrases are always done in multiples of 4. So 16 bars, 32 bars, 64 bars. In terms of listening out for phrases, the good thing is producers always put in little clues in their music to tell you when a new phrase has started. So if I take this track, for example, look what happens after 16 bars. So when the 17th bar kicks in. So we have a bit of a progression in terms of the instruments being used. It's almost like an intro part 2. We've got some new elements being introduced, but also there's like a marker in between that phrase finishing and that new phrase starting. I'm going to play it one more time. Got a few extra sounds in there and every track is the same. Now, it might be more subtle than this, it might be more obvious than this, but there's always like a little clap, maybe a little cymbal crash, a bit of extra percussion. It might be even that they remove the bass completely and then reintroduce it. There are lots of variations, but producers will always put markers in place. So that is what you're listening out for, is changes in the music. When something changes in the music, right before the next beat, that is normally an indication that the phrase has changed. It's those changes where you want to start your mix. That's where you want to start playing your next track from. Now, visually, if you are listening for this and you're thinking, well, I want a bit more of a visual using technology, that's absolutely fine. Visually, what you can do, okay, this is what I do with a lot of my tracks, is I will look for those markers in the music. So you can see here, this is quite, on the left-hand side here, this is quite uniform. And then here, we've got this random blue element where you can see here, that has been introduced at 16.2 bars. That is that little clue that the beat, or the phrase is about to change. And then what I will do to mark that new phrase is on the start of that next bar, let's put the cue point there, I will then put a memory cue. That is great for me, and I'll put several memory cues through my tracks. Now, the good thing in Rekordbox, you can label these, you can color code these. Some people like to use hot cues, I like to use memory cues. And then you can see on the waveform now, I've got these big arrows, and that helps me to know when a new phrase is coming, a little visual representation for me. So that's where I'm going to start my mix. Now, a lot of people in the comments might say I'm cheating, or, oh, well, it wasn't like this in the vinyl days. I get that, okay, yes, we used to have to rely on our ears a lot more, but these days, okay, technology has moved on. I would just say the crowd do not care. Do what is right for you. Find your own system that works for you. And setting memory cues is a system that works for me. Now, a couple of things where memory cues can really help you to line up phrases is on the waveforms, okay, I will typically in a DJ set zoom right into the waveform, and then when I want to make sure that my phrases are aligned, I will zoom out because it gives me more of a waveform so I can see when that next memory cue is coming up. When I zoom out, you can see there, it's obviously past there, and obviously you can see when you zoom out when that next one is coming down the line, so you can get ready to start that next track in the mix. So that is the two things that I would encourage you to do. Listen, first and foremost, to those key changes in the tracks and those subtle changes in the tracks, those musical cues. Set markers, if that's hot cues, if that works for you, or if that's memory cues. And then use the waveforms actively. Zoom in if you want to, but zoom out when you're thinking, right, I need to place my next mix and I need to place it correctly. Now, if you're finding this video useful and you have been inspired to take up DJing, perhaps by one of your favorite DJs that you've seen perform at a festival this summer, then check out my complete beginner DJ course. In that course, I will give you everything that you need to know to get up and running as a DJ and to create professional sounding mixes with ongoing support directly from myself via the exclusive Discord group. Check out the link down in the description down below. Okay, so you now know how to identify phrases through listening to the music, those little musical clues that producers put in, and hopefully from this video I've inspired you to set up a little system that works for you to help you identify those phrase changes. Personally, as I mentioned, I do it through memory cues. Some people like to use hot cues. It's completely up to you, but those little markers will make things a lot easier for you. But sometimes things can still go wrong. For example, you might be talking to a customer, taking a request, or you just miss the start of a phrase when you want to start mixing in the next track. And this little hack is what saves me all the time, and that is by using beat jump. So what I will typically do if I miss the start of a phrase when I want to start bringing in the next track is I will basically fast forward this second track that I'm bringing in by a set number of beats. Now, this really works well with house music, electronic music, where there aren't many vocals. If you are an R&B and hip hop DJ, then what you might want to do is put a little loop point in where you find something that's a little bit more instrumental, a little bit more subtle. It can do exactly the same thing, but beat jumping through vocals makes things very, very obvious and sounds a little bit weird. So I have fast forwarded this track to the point where I want to mix out. We're just going to start it, and I'm going to on purposely start this track off phrase, but I'm going to catch it up by beat jumping forward to make everything go back on phrase. So let's start this track. That is where I should have started the second track, but it's off phrase. Let's beat jump forward. So we're now back in time. And there we have it. Everything remained in phrase. It wouldn't have done if I kept things riding out. By beat jumping forward about 3 or 4 bars, so 4 beats at a time, we managed to get everything back into phrase. And the same can be done on track number 1. You could beat jump backwards on this to get everything in phrase with that. It's just whatever your preference is. So there we have it, how to phrase match without constantly counting out beats and bars in your head. Hopefully you found this video useful. Leave me a question with any comments as always down below. Shout out to my members as always, and I'll catch you in the next video.